This time on our special episode of The Gadget Show.
We all head off on a road trip.
We're on a race overland between Edinburgh and London, testing some of the most awesome tech we can get our hands on. We're starting off the race on cutting-edge high-tech tandems.
Oh, look!
Oh, get a bit of speed on.
Yeah!
Then testing the best way to get online when you're on the go. Yay, we are connected.
And finding the best way to stay entertained on a long journey.
And at the end of our tech-fueled odyssey, we test the quite brilliant future of computer gaming. Location-based gaming, where your real-world environment is the location you play in.
And if all that doesn't sound enough, John tests action cameras with the help of Olympic athlete Dean Macy.
And welcome to the Gadget Show.
Yeah, a special edition of the Gadget Show, our road trip special.
Which sees all four of us on a challenge travelling from Arthur's Seat right here in Edinburgh.
Yeah, via Newcastle and then on to central London. And in fact, here in central London, Trafalgar Square.
The idea of our epic road trip was, of course, to test a truckload full of cutting-edge tech.
Yes, and it began with a race across Edinburgh on two very cool gadget bikes. We began our road trip early in the morning on Arthur's Seat, a beautiful bit of Highland landscape right in the centre of Edinburgh.
The first part of our challenge was to race from here across the city to the gates of Edinburgh Castle. A journey of almost 2 miles.
For our race, we'd chosen a very sociable form of transport, tandem bikes. They're perfect for touring as two riders generate double the power, and you can have a chat while you're at it. Thankfully, the sit-up-and-beg basket on the front thing is long gone. The tandems we were testing were high-tech, cutting-edge machines.
This is a team challenge, and my teammate is going to be the Gadget Show's most classy act, Mr. John Bentley.
Very kind of you to say so.
Not a problem.
And my teammate may come as something of a surprise to you because the Gadget Show has got a new presenter. Yes, a whole new presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, children and geeks, Mr. Otis Dealey.
Hey!
How you doing, Otis?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Looking good in your lycra.
Thanks very much.
Yes, aren't we all? Anyway, so now you know the teams. What about the most important bit, the tech that we're testing?
And Susie and I had chosen the Greenspeed GTT. This two-person, three-wheel trike is custom-made to order from aircraft-grade steel.
Me and Jason will be riding the Hasapino. This half-and-half bike combines the good visibility and steering of an upright at the back and the efficient power delivery of a recumbent at the front.
Look at this. The front rider gets to freewheel.
OK, so you can chill out while the old boy does all the work.
Not that I do that, but yes.
Maybe I should sit at the front.
No.
So, 2 awesome bicycles made for 2, 1 historic yet demanding Caledonian course, and 4 very competitive Gadget Show presenters. Time, I think, for a race.
3, 2, 1, go!
And we were off. Otis and I struggled to get going on our Pinot, which meant Susie and John on the Greenspeed took an early lead.
The Greenspeed's really built for speed. With a good downhill run, you can get up to 50 miles an hour. And with this direct, sensitive steering, you can corner like a sports car.
Woo!
Come on, let's get some pace down now.
They're catching us!
We were only just trailing, but then we hit a slight incline.
We've overtaken the jogger anyway.
Yeah, good. Feeling the burn now.
I'm feeling the burn.
Yeah.
You know what it is as well, Otis?
Yeah.
We're also using a lot of muscles in our core to balance. Whereas the other guys, they're on 3 wheels. They're not doing that. It's all about their thighs for those guys.
Yeah.
Thighs or no thighs, we crested the hill and picked up pace, the Pinot handling really well.
This is fast!
Nevertheless, we were in the lead, but our very low profile became something of a disadvantage as we hit traffic.
Stay on, not left!
Stay on.
Oh! We couldn't see over the cars and missed our turn, losing the lead.
See up there, there's the Parliament building.
They've gone the wrong way! Because our height gave us better visibility, we went the right way, and while Susie and John struggled to turn, we approached Edinburgh's famous Royal Mile.
You realise when we get to the bottom of the Royal Mile, it's going to increase in difficulty.
It's going to hurt,
yeah,
right?
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
The Royal Mile is 1 mile of grueling uphill pedalling and vicious-looking cobbles that would take us to the finish line.
This is it! This is the start of the Royal Mile!
It's absolutely...
We headed onto the mile as the others finally got underway again. We had a massive advantage by now, and the race looked like a foregone conclusion.
Let's go.
Go, go, go!
But we had 81 gears.
Ooh.
Oh, look.
Oh, get a bit of speed on!
Yeah.
That, combined with the 3 wheels, meant we could keep on going upwards without even breaking into a sweat. We weren't super fast, but we were relentless, and we actually caught up with the struggling Jason and Otis.
We were still in the lead, but then disaster. The traffic lights were on red.
Red lights, red
This is it. This is the final stretch. I can see.
When the lights changed, the extra stability of the trike meant they got away first. Against all the odds, Susie and John were back in the lead.
Push! I'm not losing this. Push it!
I can't get any more.
Come on, Otis!
We'll catch him, Jason, we'll catch him, we'll catch him.
You don't want to lose your first one.
Jason was right. I was determined to give it everything.
Are you serious?
Even though Susie and John had the more efficient bike, we were a very competitive pair, and we pushed ourselves to the limit, overtaking just as we entered the castle car park.
We headed past the flag, up to the castle gates, and victory! And that is a taste of things to come.
Get used to it.
Oh, I've heard these two. Woo.
He's worryingly competitive, this
Yes, but which of us is most competitive?
It's me.
But we did have a lot of problems with our gears, didn't
Yes, there were an
we?
awful lot to choose from. The selection didn't work very well, and often you didn't get the right one or even the right range.
81 you had, didn't
We
you?
had 81, but I don't think we really covered them at all. We did get good starts, though. We could get off the line quite quickly.
But then we would come sailing past.
You would.
And I think the reason for that is that our bike was very light. But also, I've got a theory that I think the recumbent and the upright position, the combination of the two, meant that we had the best of both sort of physical positions.
Which looked really odd. I mean, what was it like being at the front?
I felt very exposed at the front, actually. All I had in front of me was a set of pedals and then the open road and lots of cars.
But you're right, because you had Captain Jace at the helm.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's what's behind you that you should have been more worried about with him being in control.
Welcome back. Now, I want to talk to you about action cameras. Lovely portraits and stunning landscapes are all very well, but often the photos with the most impact are the action-packed ones, where you've managed to capture the speed and energy of your subject in full flight. Like your mate making a match-winning tackle for his Sunday League soccer team, or your dad getting carried away on the dance floor. But what's the best sort of camera for capturing those vital yet fast-moving moments? To find out, I did a spot of hands-on testing. To give our cameras a thorough workout, I went to an athletics centre to meet reigning Commonwealth Games decathlon champion and keen photographer Dean Macy, who had agreed to do some running, jumping and throwing for my snapping pleasure. To test camera number 1, the Panasonic Lumix G1, we hit the sandpit for some long jumping.
OK, Dean, are you ready?
Ready, mate?
Superb. Let's try a jump.
What you need to take good action stills is a responsive shutter, the ability to shoot as many frames a second as possible, and a good long lens. The G1 looks like a digital SLR, but it isn't. The idea is you've got the ease of use of a compact camera with the image quality of an SLR and the versatility of its interchangeable lenses.
At the moment, only 2 are available. This 14 to 45mm and this longer 45 to 200mm. They're both rather compact, and that's partly because with no mirror to get in the way, the back of the lens can be very close to the sensor.
So, with Dean ready to give us some big jumps, it was time to see what the Lumix could do.
Not a bad shot there. I mean, we've managed to capture a bit of the action of the spraying sand, but the shutter speed really isn't high enough, 1/60th of a second. For that, I'd need a camera with a bigger lens than this that lets in more light and means I can use a faster shutter speed.
While the G1 can shoot continuous frames at a rate of 3 per second, I found this was just too slow for capturing an action sequence.
Oh,
I invariably missed the key moments during Dean's jumps and was hampered by the fact that a review image would pop up for each frame.
that's a bit late, isn't it? I don't think I'll be winning any prizes with it.
I don't know, I could win a prize with that face.
Convinced I'd got the best I could out of the G1, I let Dean dust off the sand and take stock of the photos.
Even though the end result has come out really nice colours and it's quite sharp and actually it's pretty much what we was after.
Yeah.
It took us a long time to get them results.
Next up, the Casio Exilim EX-F1, a 6-megapixel digital camera with a 12x zoom. Its ability to take up to 60 frames a second should, in theory, be just what I need to capture some great shots of Dean sprinting.
Go.
Considering the Lumix only manages 3 frames per second and professional digital SLRs can only do 10 or 11 frames per second, this really is an astonishing achievement for a digital camera. You can then save the whole sequence or pick individual frames, but I found the image quality was grainy and left a bit to be desired. The Casio can also shoot video. You just press this handy button here instead of the shutter release. You can choose high definition video if you want to, or high speed video at 300, 600, or a truly astonishing 1200 frames per second.
And I've set up this shot to record how Dean's foot hits the ground at all 3 speeds.
Both the quality and frame size of the video decreases as more frames per second are recorded, but in spite of these compromises, it's a feature I really like. I also like the Casio's motion detection mode, where you set up the camera and it starts recording stills automatically when it detects motion in the frame. Great for recording the perfect photo finish.
I'll try and match your speed.
Go. Though Dean was more than a match for me, it was clear the Casio's various shooting modes had impressed.
Well, I thought as a camera it was really fun to use. And when you're shooting at 60 frames per second, it's almost impossible, as long as you've got the camera pointing in the right direction, to miss the shot. And I think some of them have turned out really excellent.
The final camera was the brand new Nikon D90, the latest model in a well-respected range of digital SLRs. And for this, Dean entered the throwing cage for some shot-put slinging action.
The first thing you notice about the D90 is that all the controls and buttons seem to be in the right place, making it very quick and intuitive to use. Right, Dean, grip it and rip it.
The standard kit lens is of good quality and has a useful 18 to 105mm range, so you often only need to carry the one lens, making the D90 a fairly light and convenient package.
What's great is there's virtually no shutter delay at all, and you can shoot continuously at up to 4.5 frames per second. In this and in many respects, it comes close to rivaling a professional digital SLR.
There's an intelligent autofocus system on the D90 which can help you select which part of the picture to focus on, but I found that my best shots came as a result of manually focusing on Dean. There's also a useful video feature, and the picture quality is fairly good despite the fact you have to manually focus on the action. So how did Dean think the D90 compared?
Very favourably, actually. I think the Lumix, even though we got some good end results, was difficult to use. The Casio was mega fun, but the still quality wasn't fantastic. I think this all-round is a quality piece of kit and is definitely my favourite for the day.
Brilliant.
Interesting test, John. And can I just say, as an athletics fan, it was really great to see Dean Macy back in action.
Oh, it was great fun.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
All right, then, G ratings on our action cameras.
Yes, well, in this test, I'm going to give the Lumix just 3 Gs, because though it's a very good camera, it can do some really great images, it just can't handle speed that well.
Okay, 3 Gs for the Lumix. What about the Casio?
4 Gs for the Casio. It's huge fun, and if your life depended on getting an action shot of something, this would give you lots of different ways to get it, and you could be really confident you'd get it with it, but the image quality isn't that great.
OK, and finally then, the Nikon.
Well, I'm going to give the Nikon D90 5 Gs because it did produce the best pictures on the day. The image quality is absolutely superb, and as well as being a good action camera, it's the sort of camera you could really take anywhere and get great shots with it with confidence.
All right, great. So the Gadget Show's favourite action camera is the Nikon D90.
Now it's time to return to this week's challenge, our road trip, starring the old-school coupling of Susie and John and our Gadget Show new boy, Otis, and my good self.
The second part of our challenge wasn't going to be a leisurely drive through the countryside, though. Oh, no. It was all about trying to find the best way of staying online when you're out and about. There are 2 main ways of doing this.
Otis and I will be championing Wi-Fi. It offers blisteringly quick speeds, but its range isn't great.
Wi-Fi broadcasts over a short distance from a router, creating a hotspot in which you can make a broadband internet connection wirelessly. Relying on Wi-Fi will mean us finding enough of these hotspots.
John and I will be on the side of mobile broadband. Now, our coverage should be great because it's got a 3G data signal. However, it won't be as fast as theirs.
Mobile broadband comes through the 3G mobile phone network and we'll pick it up on a USB dongle plugged into our laptop.
So which is the best? Which should you choose if you could only choose one?
Well, to find out, we're road tripping from Edinburgh to Newcastle, completing tasks along the way with our internet connection of choice.
Woo!
As winners of the last challenge, we got to travel in a chauffeur-driven limo.
And as losers, we got the cheapest car the production team could hire.
Our first task was to get connected and download an instruction video from a secret page on the Gadget Show website.
3, 2, 1, go!
We leapt into action trying to get a connection to the internet.
And there's nothing here.
Let's move.
We had to search out a Wi-Fi signal, and that meant a wave
waving about.
And our wheels.
We had no such trouble as we could get access pretty much anywhere.
All we need to do is get our mobile broadband working is just plug that into the side, the dongle.
It's got all the software you need in it, and just once you plug it in, it should automatically search for the strongest mobile signal.
Connected!
We've gone for 3's dongle as it's the best value mobile broadband in terms of upper usage limit and cost, and has over 90% of the population covered.
Susie and John had started their download, but it took us ages to find a Wi-Fi signal we could log on to. Wi-Fi the Cloud!
The Cloud is the country's biggest wireless internet network, and for just $6.99 a month, you can log in at any one of its 6,500 wireless hotspots.
Secret page?
Fantastic.
Secret page! Look at the speed of this download! We may have had to run half a mile, and we might have our laptop on a bin outside a pub.
And we may have lost 5 minutes
And
in the
we're
race.
probably losing.
Yeah.
But look at the speed of the download!
Luckily, we'd had a head start. Their Wi-Fi was downloading faster than our 3G connection.
In the end, it took the mobile broadband 7 minutes to download the 7 meg video.
But it only took our Wi-Fi 2 minutes.
Your mission is to drive from here to Newcastle train station, stopping on...
Our instruction told us to head to Newcastle Station, stopping at a Roman fort to get a photo and upload it to receive our next instructions.
Let's go!
This was a race against each other and a race against time.
Foot down, baby!
Our instructions were waiting for us. The sun was setting, and we'd got over 155 miles to cover.
Get that chocolate open, John.
Oh, lovely.
We drove on, eating up the miles and the chocolate. We'd lost the sun a while back, and as we got deeper and deeper into the countryside, it got darker and darker.
It's been a great trip, hasn't it?
It has. And you know one of the things I've really enjoyed about it? The scenery.
It's a beautiful part of the world, isn't it? I mean, just look at that.
Breathtaking.
Finally, after 3 long hours on the road, John and I arrived at the fort, and the challenge was on again.
Oh, there's a centurion!
We had to take a photo with him and upload it to Flickr before we'd find out what to do on the way to Newcastle Station.
But disaster struck.
We haven't got any signal actually on this modem at all.
We arrived soon after. There's a man with a... There's a man!
With our pic on the laptop, we had to find some Wi-Fi.
And I had just the thing. I've got an application on my iPhone. It's genius. It uses GPS functionality of the iPhone to give you an exact location for the nearest hotspot.
Amazingly, we found a local connection. More and more tourist attractions now offer Wi-Fi, so you can often find it in the strangest of places.
Our picture was online in just 30 seconds.
Excellent!
Excellent!
Mr. Centurion, sir, look, we've uploaded a picture to the website. We got our instructions and we were off to Newcastle.
While Susie and John hunted in vain for a signal, the instructions told us we needed to continue our journey to Newcastle Station and book some train tickets online.
This has to be completed before 9 p.m.
As they sped off, we realised we were in a part of the country with no mobile broadband whatsoever, but we had an idea.
You have to come with us in our rather small chariot here. By taking the Roman with us, we could hopefully save time by uploading the picture on the road.
Got a biscuit.
Because the dongle operates on a mobile phone signal, the data connection works in the same way, switching from cell to cell without dropping out at speeds up to 70 miles an hour.
In the end, though, it wasn't till we hit the outskirts of Newcastle that we got a strong enough signal to upload the 3 meg photo.
It took about 5 minutes.
There it is! There it is! Look!
Yes!
You look! There! Give us the envelope! Thank you very much.
It was now a race to the station and a race to book the train tickets for the next day.
We were technically ahead as we pulled up to the station, but we still had to find a Wi-Fi hotspot and get online.
Do it!
Newcastle has a big public Wi-Fi network covering most of the streets around the station, so we could log on outside.
Got it.
We weren't at the station yet, but we were using our mobile advantage to book on the move.
Yes.
Station.
Susie and I had the head start.
2 seats.
But our Wi-Fi connection was nearly twice as fast. This was going to be close.
First class.
Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
9 p.m. approached.
But in the end, our head start was just too much for them to catch up.
Look!
Well
You're
done.
on a station!
We booked our tickets and pulled into the station with just 10 seconds to spare.
Because we had to get to the station, then book our ticket, we didn't get them till 2 minutes past 9, losing challenge number 2.
I love you, John Bentley. I love you, Roman soldier. We've still got the Roman soldier in the car.
Oh, gosh, do we train somewhere?
Hey! The comeback kid.
Indeed.
I'll tell you what, though, it was a bit hairy, wasn't it?
I know, we didn't get our 3G signal until the lights of Newcastle were spread out before us.
Which I was surprised about, actually.
Yeah, I use these things all the time when I'm working, and they're great in cities, but they're often quite good on trains and stuff. Wi-Fi, on the other hand, gives you great download and upload speeds. We found that with our video, didn't we, in Edinburgh? It was fantastically quick.
Yeah, whereas obviously 3G is a little bit slower, isn't it?
However, I think it's fair to say if you want the best coverage, you probably need both 3G and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, agree with that.
Right, now it's time for this week's Top 5. And to give you an idea of how much effort we on the Gadget Show put into these Top 5s, for this one, I jumped on an aeroplane, flew for several hours, got a car up a mountain, bought a ski pass, put loads of ski-type clothing on, went to the very, very peak of a very high mountain-type hill thingy in Soldern, in Austria, to bring you the Gadget Show's Top 5 Best Ski Gadgets. In at number 5 is an avalanche scanner. This is the Altivox S1. It's a transceiver. Right now, with its lid closed, it's transmitting a radio signal. So if I was to get lost, someone will be able to find me. However, when I push the button at the side and open the lid, it becomes a scanner. So if my buddy, who's also got one of these units, is lost in an avalanche, I can find them. It's a pretty good signal. It picks up the worldwide standard emergency radio signal. I'm coming, wherever you are, I'm coming! And shows the distance, the direction, and as you get within 3 metres, it even shows a little homing beacon that tells you if you're getting closer or further away. Right, I'm directly above it. I'm going to put my gloves on. There it is, look! Woohoo! Fantastic! At number 4 is a way to keep your feet toasty and your boots dry. The Thermic Boot Warmers and Leon Pack. It's a really simple concept. You've got an insole which you put inside your ski boots, or your snowboard boot in my case, and this heat controller which fits on the outside. I've done it here. You just simply clip it on. And this is the best thing. The controller is hands-free. I've got it around my neck. You just press the plus sign to warm it up, the minus sign to cool down. It's such a simple but effective concept. Next up is the latest version of one of our favourite little action cameras, the Oregon Scientific Atc 5K. We've used its predecessors for some of our most hair-raising footage on the Gadget Show. The new one is very similar. It takes an SD card for all your footage, a couple of batteries slip inside. It then bolts down. It's waterproof, shock-resistant, but best of all, the new version features a full-colour screen. The frustrating thing about the old one was, while it was reliable and rugged, you couldn't see what you were shooting. Now you can. The whole process is really simple. Everything works at the touch of a button. It's 2 presses, and I'm ready to strap it to my helmet and get ready for some seriously gnarly runs. It shoots 30 frames per second widescreen AVI files, and a 4 gig SD card will record 2 hours at full res. More than enough to grab the day's on-piste action. At number 2, we have a glove. But it's not just any glove. It's the Swaney G cell phone glove. Remember a few years ago on the Gadget Show, I built the world's first phone glove.
Hello?
Hello, John. It's Jason speaking. I'm talking on the phone glove. Now, a Swiss company called Swaney have brought one to market, and it's really rather good. It's got a strange configuration when you actually talk on it, but you do get used to it eventually. The speaker is there on the outside of my thumb, and the mic just down here, you can see it with that circle of black. When a call comes in, you get a flashing LED, and a little widget on the wrist vibrates too, so you can't miss it. Oh, it's a really strong sensation too. I can feel it just there. When you want to answer a call, you press the black button. Hello, Jason speaking. It links with up to 80% of phones via Bluetooth, like a hands-free headset, and it's great for staying in touch without getting your hands cold. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, haven't a clue who that was. And number 1 is something every skier should own. This is Ski Mojo. It's an exoskeleton for skiers. Using an intricate system of springs, it helps to support my body weight, taking 33% of the strain out of my knees and my thighs. Wearing this takes away the aching legs and knees, so you can stay out for longer without getting tired and make the most of your holiday. It also makes you a better skier, improving your stability over bumps and holding you in the proper posture. This thing is amazing. I've been skiing on it for ages. It's like having your own personal skiing instructor holding you up as you go along. I love it.
Check you out with your exoskeleton legs, your robot.
I love it.
Hey, did they really help you on the slope then?
Big time.
I want you to get in a position, walk this way.
I'd love to.
I want to show you this, look. This is called the ski gym.
I love it already.
Get on. It's a bit tricky though, so be careful. It's essentially going to train you to ski. Now, it's for all levels. You plug it into your PC and you choose what level you want to be, whether you're a beginner or whether you are a professional. There's 32 different tracks from all over the world, all the famous ski resorts, and you can choose from blue runs, red runs or black runs if you're really good.
It is great. I mean, it's very precise. So, you know, this is at the kind of high end of simulation.
Oh,
in fact, it's very accurate. That's what I do a lot.
Hit trees?
When I'm skiing, yeah, smash into trees.
Now it's time to return to this week's road trip challenge, in which John and I are going head-to-head with the very handsome, gorgeous, muscular Otis and Jace.
In part one of the challenge, Otis and I had claimed victory in an exhausting high-tech tandem race across Edinburgh.
But Susie and I had drawn even in the second part, when we won the road race to Newcastle.
Look!
Well done.
The station!
So, it was still all to play for, and after a good night's sleep, we assembled nice and early at Newcastle Central train station for round 3.
We were still working as teams, me and John versus Jason and Otis.
We'd been asked to find the very best bits of entertainment gadgetry to use on the train, to listen to music, watch videos and then play games.
But there were a couple of rules that made the challenge a little bit trickier.
Because this is a team challenge, the technology that we choose has to offer a shared experience between our fellow teammates.
Yeah, the second rule is that we've had to choose gadgets that don't annoy, upset or disturb the other passengers.
Yeah.
So no, you know...
Robotic lawnmowers out
Yeah,
here.
robotic lawnmowers.
No frisbees.
No frisbees.
Remote control aircraft.
Submarine.
No remote control anything. You get the picture.
So the train was underway and we were settled into our seats. Time to begin with music.
We kicked it off very cheaply with a humble headphone splitter from Maplin's.
Susie and I can share the same iPod, listen to the same music and share the same love.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Get them.
Sounds great, but what you need are these. The ShareBuds MX Twin earphones. One piece of kit, 2 headphones.
Oh, yeah. What happens if you mix up your earbuds and you got each other's wax?
Sorry, can't hear you.
Look, all these wires. Add a little bit of bolognese sauce and you've got lunch. Wires, so last century. What you really want is one of these.
This is the Eye-to-Eye Stream, and it allows you to stream audio wirelessly from any device with a headphone socket. You connect the transmitter to your MP3 player and give the receiver to your mate. It's that simple. They stream uncompressed HD audio over 30 feet safely and up to 100 feet if there's no interference.
OK, that's good. That's great. But if you want real high fidelity mixed with true convenience, then you want these, the Digital Opera headphones, OK? They've been creating quite a stir amongst audiophiles in South Korea and the States because they promise CD quality audio. We had to bring these over from Canada, but they should be available in the UK later this year. And then these go on Secret Service style. Be my guest there, Otis. They stay in. You can jig with it. Am I too loud? You can get jiggy with it. Could you bust some moves there, Otis? And they'll stay in. So they both claim great quality wireless sound, but which is the best?
All right, swap those.
Yeah.
OK, there you go.
Well, we all listened to the same tune from the same source, and here's an untreated recording from both systems.
And it was immediately apparent that Susie and John's eye-to-eye sound was much deeper and clearer than our digital operas.
Much better.
Big sound. Big sound. Great.
Much better.
Yeah. I think they won that round.
Yeah.
Now, on to round 2, and this is all about gaming. So, what do you two chaps brought to the table?
John, Susie, one word. One powerful or inspiring word.
Rock.
We're talking Guitar Hero on tour, decades on the Nintendo DS. It's got a guitar grip attachment and a cool plectrum you use on the touch screen. But the best thing for this test is the fact that you can link 2 DSs together wirelessly and take on your mate in a full-on rock battle.
OK, funky bit.
With your headphones on, you can jam without disturbing a soul. Unless you're us, of course.
Jason and Otis may have put on a performance, but Susie and I chose to let our tech take the spotlight. Take a look at these brand new Z-Mote JS1s, because you could well be seeing a lot of them in the coming year.
They're small remotes that link to the games on your mobile phone via Bluetooth and give you a tiny wireless controller.
We're playing tennis, but there are loads of games on the way from the top developers.
We've got a real volley going on. Again! It's deuce!
They fit your hand well, and the analog thumbstick makes them feel like a console controller.
That was really, really impressive.
Finished with an ace.
The Z-Mote is the world's first and only wireless mobile controller, and that inventiveness definitely wins it this round.
As we powered towards London, we moved on to the final round, video.
Right, chaps, I think we all agree that the best way of watching a movie is on a dirty big screen at the cinema.
Yep.
Well, with these MyView crystal video glasses, you can recreate that effect wherever you go.
With 2 pairs of these, right, and a video splitter cable, John and I can watch the same video at the same time, there you go, John, and totally ignore the fact that we're sitting across you two for 3 hours. Goodbye.
Charming.
The MyViews house a tiny LCD screen with a set of lenses that focus the image on both eyes. It's like watching a large TV from 2 metres away.
The resolution is a decent 640 by 480, and they come with attachments for all sorts of phones, PMPs or iPods. And although you can just about see the outside world, you quickly become immersed. It's certainly better than crowding round a tiny iPod screen.
We weren't distracting John and Susie just to be annoying.
Well, maybe a bit.
We had some brilliant tech of our own we wanted to show them.
Guys, I think I have the ultimate road trip entertainment solution. Now, we all know in the next 2 or 3 years we're going to be watching 3D displays. Okay? It's going to be reality. Believe it or not, it may be a little unwieldy, but this is the world's first properly portable 3D display. This is the Conative portable 3D display, and you can watch really good 3D footage without having to wear any silly glasses. It's all down to something called lenticular autostereoscopic 3D technology.
A normal 2D image is run through a computer which works out how far each pixel would be from the viewer. It then plays back that information and the 2D image at the same time, tricking your brain into seeing a 3D picture.
Jace, this is a really great idea, but you can't possibly win this show. It's not really portable, is it?
You've got to try, haven't you? OK, you'd be unlikely to take this on a train, and with all the attention we were getting for our 3D TV, it was clear we'd broken the second rule about not disturbing fellow passengers. We'd lost the challenge outright, but I still reckon we brought along the coolest bit of tech, 3D TV. Watch out for it. It's our very near future.
I think you'll find that's 2-1 to the chick and the older guy. Sorry, John.
The point is that the tech was great. I mean, I would happily use any of these on a journey on a plane or on a train.
It made the journey go really quickly as well,
It did. I think my favourite, though, has got to be Guitar Hero on the DS. It's just a great porting of a really popular title in a very innovative way, don't you think? I mean, and you could give this to an annoying 14-year-old. Don't.
Or an annoying 40-year-old.
Yes. In the back of the car on a long journey and keep them very quiet indeed.
Yeah, but I think the one that has the most potential are these Z-Motes. Now, I know we only tried them out with one game, and, you know, the more games have got to arrive for them to be really proven, but they could be really fun on long journeys.
I agree. They could be the gaming sensation of 2009.
Hi, welcome back. Now it's time for the climax to our Gadget Show road trip special.
Yeah, now, you'll probably know that we're moving from Edinburgh to London and along the route facing all kinds of tech-fuelled gadget challenges.
Yep, and of these challenges so far, John and I have won 2. Jason and Otis, just the 1.
Yeah, we kind of worked out at this point that we couldn't win, but we did think we might be able to salvage an honourable draw. Slowly but surely, over the last few years, there's been a quiet revolution going on in the gaming world.
Yep, computer games have become physical.
We're talking location-based gaming. This is where gameplay is affected by the player's physical location. It's the latest development in computer games and formed the last part of our challenge. We're in a park, and there's not a great deal to do.
However, if you look at our GPS-enabled mobile phones, you'll see that we've downloaded a free game called Torality.
A whole bunch of geographical spots have been placed all around us online. We've downloaded the game map to our phones, and we'll have to race each other in the real world to capture the spots first. John and I will be racing against Jason and Otis, trying to get spots before they did.
Whichever team got the most would be the winners.
Wait, we've got a plan, we notice, right? We're going to follow them, right? And then when we realise which one they're going to, we're going to sprint past them.
With our plan in place, it was time to play.
Go somewhere else!
The phones are all receiving the standard global positioning system signal from US military satellites, so they can work out your location to within a few meters.
As the phone's GPS detects that we physically run over the real-life spot on a virtual map, it tells the game, and we've captured a point. Ah!
Your phone connects to the internet to keep the scores updated and show all the other players' locations on your screen. A maximum of 40 players can play in any one game.
I've got one in my sights. I'm heading over here, Jace. This actually isn't bad. It's fairly accurate. The screen orientates for the way I'm running. It shows me where the nearest spot is and shows me how close that sneak Perry is to taking the spot off me.
But you're not confined to open spaces or parks. Location-based games can take you to all sorts of places.
I get the feeling we're going to the same one.
Yeah.
Every Tourality game is created by the user.
Yes, I've got it! I've got it! Yes! It's here!
So they can be played absolutely anywhere in any country around the world that is supported.
OK, you can You can play by foot like we are, or by bike, or even in your car, which means that the game can be citywide or even cover the entire country.
You can either play someone else's game or set the spot locations yourself through a great Google Maps interface. You can create any number of game types in your area, and it's really simple to do.
I have been waiting for this subgenre of gaming to come along for ages. For me, it's a no-brainer. You get a GPS, you whack it onto a gaming device, in this case a mobile phone, and you've got a physical, healthy form of gaming. It's great.
And this type of gaming could soon be huge.
Games are coming on all sorts of phones and other devices, but what is really going to see location-based gaming cross into the mass market is the iPhone 3G.
There are already some games that make use of the iPhone's interface graphics, ease of use and built-in GPS. And because developers have been given extensive access to the iPhone, there's no limit to the amount of games that will soon be coming our way.
Back with our game, we were getting spots aplenty.
Go on! Yes! That side somewhere! Found it!
No!
Yes!
No!
I knew it was here. You were feet away, Susan.
Oh.
Yes!
Now it was a race against time to the finish.
Trafalgar Square!
Otis, no, this way! It's Trafalgar Square!
The last spot was waiting for us in Trafalgar Square.
Me and John got there first and won.
Hey! We got it! Believe it!
We've got evidence!
We were there!
Game over!
So we also took the entire road trip, 3 challenges to 1.
Hey!
A resounding victory!
And a reasonably effortless one, actually.
Not sure about effortless.
There's no doubt location-based gaming, it's been talked about for years. It's got a long way to go yet. But with platforms like the iPhone now becoming a gaming platform, it could be big news in the next year or so.
Yeah, definitely.